Greetings, Battle Brothers. It's me, Aurelia Tempris, Defender of the Golden Throne and Servant of Humanity. How are we doing today? It's Book Club Day. I don't know why I said it like that. I have no idea why I said it like that. Forgive me. Forgive me, forgive me. Oh yes, I will hydrate. Thank you very much. Hang on, give me 1 second. I forgot to scream at my mic before this, so I'm gonna make sure I scream at it really quickly. 1 moment. Can confirm the mic has been screamed at. The mic has been screamed at now. So, now we're good. Your turn. The background music on. Okay, good. Got the background music set up and ready to go. What a wonderful Waaagh. I was muted, right? I did mute myself before I screamed into the mic. I thought I had. Okay, I did mute myself. Okay, good. Good. I was like, did I? I could have sworn I screamed into it because I was like, there's a... The mic has been sanctified, yes. Yes. It apparently got messed up again, even though I yelled at it yesterday, and I have no idea how, why. It just does a thing, and I have to go back and fix it somehow. Did I scream Waaagh? No, I did not. I just did a little, just that, but louder and higher pitched. Higher pitched, yep. So who read Ghazghkull, blah. Oh my gosh, you would think I would actually know how to say this book after how many times they said his name. After many times they said his name, Ghazghkull Thraka. Who read the book? I would like to know who read the book. Because I know it's kind of hit or miss sometimes. Read or listened to. I call it the same. Yes, The Prophet of the Waaagh, that book. That's the book. You listen to it. I listened to it too. I really liked the audiobook. I enjoyed it. Yes, loved it. Yeah, it was really good. I had the audiobook because books are for nerds. I hate to break it to you, High Gunner, but book is in the word audiobook. It's in the word audiobook, so I don't know how to tell you that. You're probably still a nerd. But it's okay. You are in very, very good company. Very good company. I have opinions. Oh, okay. We will get to all of the opinions today. This is a book that I think a lot of people liked. Let's see. I was gonna say something and then my brain, I totally shut off. It's been that kind of day today. My brain is not working. Or it's not working very well, let's just say. Yeah, so I listened to the audiobook. I really liked, so we'll do kind of, basics. For those of you that didn't read the book, it is basically about the most terrifying orc that you have ever, that you have ever heard about. Ghazghkull. I'm not gonna go through his whole name. Basically, he's leading all of the orcs currently against the Imperium and pretty much any other Xenos they can get their hands on. And it's basically a story about how he, kind of like his lore and how he comes into being and kind of the stuff he has to deal with in order to become the big boss. Big boss. Ow. Ah, just hit my elbow on my desk. Ouch. The desk is fighting back, chat. Ow. There we go. My audio. Okay. Fantasy orcs are better than 40k orcs. in regards to Gaz, but still, okay. Well, I don't know if I agree with that, but that's okay. We can agree to disagree today. Okay. Alright. So, let's start talking about what our favorite little bits are. I'm gonna try to read them as much as possible. I kind of like hearing from you guys what you guys like to hear. What you guys like to, listen to. I want to know, what were your favorite parts? Let me think of like what my favorite part is while you guys think. And don't be shy. Feel free to type out longer things. This is an example of what today is like. Feel free to type out longer sentences. So, personally, I thought it was really cool, and it was hilarious that Makari, there was one phase in Makari's lives where he would just try to find the quickest way to game end himself. Just to prove a point. Because he knew Ghazghkull would bring him back. I was like, this is peak. This is fabulous. I love this. It's hilarious. It was just too good. It was too good. My favorite part was the fight at the warp engine on the Chaos Starship. Oh yeah, that was super cool. My brain was still trying to figure out what was going on, because they described it very simply. They didn't get into big details because they didn't really know what like chaos was at the time. So my brain was like, okay, what is happening here? But that was super cool. I love that fight. That was amazing. Yeah, poor Makari, but it was hilarious though. Yeah, Makari definitely got the short end of the stick a lot of times. Okay, I'm gonna go through all of them. I'm gonna try to read through all of them. So I'm gonna get through. So this is gonna be silly, but in every greenskin book, orcs get so embarrassed they can't look at or kills. When they can't look at or kill someone, Makari has a moment where he sees the orc preacher. I don't know what you mean by that. You're gonna have to clarify. Ghazghkull got shot by a Lehman Russ by Ghazghkull because he refused to admit Makari was his friend. That was wonderful too. When they were having that conversation and Makari was just waiting for him to say it and he was so stubborn he would not say it. I was like, wow, you're willing to sacrifice so much, but also Makari like taking out the rest of the engine crew. I was like, oh, wow, I'm impressed by Makari. Let's see. I generally enjoyed the action sequences. I like the Mad Doc too. Kind of wish he had more screen time. See, I mean, you would like the Mad Doctor, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like that? I was kind of on the same side as Makari. I did not like the Doctor very much. I was like, he's like too suspicious and weird about the whole thing. And even though he was like, oh, I've only done good things for the boss, I would never. I was like, I don't trust that even then. Yes, technically the Ghazghkull got where he was because of the Doctor, but honest, I did not like it. Did not like him. At least he brought him back, but even then, that's like bad for the Imperium. Also, I knew that was coming. I got this like sinking feeling. I'm like, why are they telling them all this? This is kind of odd. And then at the end of the story, that plot twist, and I'm like, well, you guys are screwed. You guys are absolutely screwed. Let's see. Makari saying Gork and Mork and the page text changing from black to white with the fancy font. Oh, Was it? Wait, you have like 5 different favorite parts, but I will say it is a really good book. It is a really good book. Best part was when the knobs were trying to find Makari, Crump the Grots. Yeah, when they were going after all the other Grots and then went next to try to find Makari, I thought that was hilarious. And the funny thing is, all it took was just a touch from Ghazghkull's hand. Not like, I mean, the doctor didn't do anything. Makari just appeared because the hand happened to touch that particular grot. I was like, bro, Gork and Mork really liked this guy. Makari, blam, Makari. Yeah, that was, oh my gosh. They love that little guy. They love that little guy. Let's see. The doctor was weirdly illuminated about the gods and whatever is happening to both Makari and Ghazghkull. Yeah, no, he surprisingly was, but that didn't mean I liked him more. Just because he was smart and right about a couple of things doesn't, like, mean I like him. It was, yeah, it was not great. Let's see. The only thing I didn't like, the going back and forth from the story and then going back to the Inquisition ship. Yeah, okay. I can understand why that felt too jerky. You could have phrased it in a way where it's like an orc camp and they're telling the story of Ghazghkull. It did take you away from the story, especially if you're listening to the audiobook. The voice actors did a very good job with the book, I must say. And it definitely got your attention when you were going back and forth from the male narrator who was doing all the orc voices and then the female who was the Inquisitor. Like, it definitely caught your attention. I don't think they needed to do it, but it did provide some extra, to me, it provided some like extra horror, because most of the time you think greenskins, they're really dumb and they're stupid, they're not clever, but it felt like when you were reading that book and you had stepped away, you basically realized that they knew more than that they were letting on. And that they were way more terrifying than just being brutes and just doing some... Just engaging in melee to engage in melee. So, personally, I found it... It was like a cautionary tale where it's like, hey, don't underestimate them, because just because you think they might be, like, stupid, doesn't mean they are. They're actually very, very smart, and you don't want to underestimate them. So I felt like that was kind of the underlying theme when you switch back to the human side, because it was usually like, oh, she was entranced in the story, and she didn't, like, realize, like, oh my gosh, he'd gotten really close, he's quite fast, and all of the things that they could do, it's crazy. I feel like the framing device could have been less obtrusive to the main story. I was totally uninterested in how so cool and edgy the Imperials were. I didn't take it as them being, like, cool and edgy, but I agree. I think it could have been different. I think it could have been different. It was kind of jarring. Because if they really wanted you to think, like, oh, don't underestimate them, they could have taken a different tact. I agree. Biter is more than he lets on. He wasn't just some translator. Yes. Yep. And that was one of the things that you learned as it went on. You're like, yeah, no, he's not... He has a very specific role he wants to play here. Don't underestimate them. Okay, let me... I'm scrolling through comments because I know I missed a bunch. Has no one here read Mad Doc? Is that a separate book on its own? Let's see. I love that they brought up the fact that orcs sucked for 3 editions by showing Gaz's depression segment being lost in the Finken. Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that was a reference to orcs being bad in some of the previous editions. That's clever. I did think it was funny that Ghazghkull for a time, he was just like, he's like, I don't know what to do anymore. That he was like, I shouldn't laugh when I say it, but like, he just didn't know what to do. Orc was not orking properly. Let's see. Oh yeah, so that was one of the things, so thank you for bringing that up. When I was talking about how it was to not underestimate the orcs, one of the points is Makari could always speak Gothic, but was just messing with him. Like, he could have done that the whole time. Probably blessed by Mork in that way. But like that was like one of the parts where I was like, oh yeah, this is bad. Dude, oh, what was that gross thing? The Kroot. The Kroot that had like changed its forms. That was disgusting. I was kind of happy it died. Cause I was like, that is the grossest thing I've ever like read. Blech. I wanted to puke. I was like, this is awful. I do not like this. Yeah, the Kroot. Blech. No. Gross, gross, gross. Did not appreciate that one in the slightest. Not at all. I love that Kroot eating ethereals turns into insane creatures. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. I did not. The voice actor for Makari was fantastic. I love the nasally and squeaky he was as a grot. It sounds like someone who, if he was out of our fight, slinks to the back and pulls out a knife. Yes. Yes. What is it? Like, hide now to stab him tomorrow? Yeah, like, I was like, oh wow, that's quite fitting. That's quite fitting. He ate the forbidden fish. Blech. Kroot may be cool, but that Kroot was not very cool. He was like, I was disturbed by the Kroot. I was like, I find the Kroot more like repulsive than I ever did the orcs. Like that was bleh. Bleh. Pretty sure it was the same voice actor for all the characters, only the one person doing the books. They had 3 voice actors. They had a female. They had a guy, and she did all of the human parts for the most part. Then you had one guy who did like all of the orc parts, and then one man who did the space wolf, and he was like more Britishy accent, crisp accent, which made me sad because I wanted a space wolf voice, not like a very clean British accent. So there was technically 3 voice actors for the entire book, so not just the one. Typically it is just the one, so I was surprised. Like, I heard in the beginning when they when the book starts, they say who reads it. I was surprised that there were 3, and then they were all pretty involved, except for the last one. The last dude, he wasn't involved as much. He maybe got like 1 chapter. That was it. Space Wolves turned me off in most books, so I didn't care for his parts. I thought his parts were interesting. Not like super interesting, but I thought it was fascinating. Because we got to see where Ghazghkull died, and kind of the thoughts of Makari in that moment. So let's see. Yeah, I like that we know now that an orc can be decapitated and still survive. We knew that, like, towards the beginning of the book, because when Ghazghkull was having an issue with the, with the other bosses, he said he cut this dude's head off. He's like, hey, you need to agree with me, and he said no, and then he did it again. Like, he kept cutting his head off and putting it back on. And I was like, bro, this is so comical. I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I thought that was really good, though. Made me laugh. I would say the Space Wolves voice actors sound more Viking than British, kind of more Norse. I don't know about that. Yeah, when I hear Space Wolf, I think of a thick, heavy accent, not what that guy was dishing. Not that what that guy was dishing, it wasn't as involved as I would have liked. Like, I want to feel the spit flying from the voice actor's mouth when I listen. I want it to be thicker than the chest hair on a Space Wolf. Like, it's gotta be thick. So, yeah. I want an accent. Let's see. I think it's been since 2nd edition since the orcs could be decapitated and have their head stapled back onto another orc's body. Yeah, I wouldn't know all the rules, but honestly, I'm not surprised. Orcs just do as the orcs do. It doesn't much matter. They don't care. They don't care what you think. They'll breathe in space, and they don't need to know about that. They don't care. They don't care. Let's see. So were there any parts... Okay, so are there any parts of the book that we were like, like, that was okay, like, I would have preferred they did something differently. We already talked about how they went between the stories, and it felt kind of jarring. So we already talked about that. So I'd like to know what your thoughts were for things you're like, ah, man, I wish they did this differently. Or if you're like a huge orc fan, you're like, this is wrong. This is the lore with orcs and they did this wrong. I'm curious to know. If a Space Wolf doesn't have the hardest Scottish accent, I don't want it. Yes, I agree. I agree. You gotta have a good, hard Scottish accent. I agree. Let's see. I didn't like the ending much. That's a question. I don't know, like, I don't know what you mean when you say that. You gotta clarify. Don't be afraid to type out longer sentences. I'm gonna go through and try to read most of them. So if you have more thoughts, feel free to type them out. Take your time. We're not gonna rush. And I'm not gonna be like, okay, time's up. You had to get your questions in 1 minute. No. Alright, so something we already said about the Inquisition subplot. Got it. Okay. Let's see. It's been a while, but I remember the author doing a pretty good job with the orc lore. So this was my first orc book. I've never really... I like the orcs because I think they're funny. They're the comic relief in Warhammer. At least in my opinion. So this is my first orc book. And I enjoyed it, but I can't say I know anything about orc lore since this is like really the first book, other than like the general stuff. Blue is lucky, red make you go faster, purple makes you very sneaky, and then there's like orc society. They're like not even in a caste system, but I knew very basic stuff. A Ghazghkull being depressed was weird for an orc, but it was supposed to be weird. Yeah, I kind of found it funny. Like, I shouldn't... It is pretty funny. Third orc book, but first one by Nate Crowley. Pretty on point if you ask me. Oh, that's great. Good. I'd love to hear that. Pancreas No Work made a video about orcs recently if you want to check it out. Even got an orc... Oh, cool. That's awesome. That's neat. Yeah, there'll be lots of cool stuff to check out with that. Orcs have always been comic relief, except from the point of view of their opponents. Yes, I agree. Oh, one thing that I did think was awesome is that Ghazghkull basically was like #1 enemy, Uruk. That was awesome. He's like, this human, yeah, don't like him. Like, we are destined enemies. And I thought that was great. I was like, yeah, get him. To have a human be your #1 bestest enemy. That's kind of cool, though. Good for him. But not so good for their men. Ugh. It was funny when Makari compared relationship between Ghazghkull and Uruk to love. Yes, because he said, what's the word? He's like, what's the word? And he was trying to explain love. I was like, that was so funny. I was like, wow, they don't understand the concept. Help him. Oh. Yeah, Grok is orc for best enemy. It's my best enemy. Let's see. Yeah, so it seems like for the most part, everyone liked the book, and there wasn't too much, like, beyond the points we already talked about that, like, we would have wanted changed. I found it interesting that orcs don't have used pronouns as they know they're mushrooms. Yeah, that was kind of a funny little conversation that they were having. It was like they. It threw me off sometimes because I wasn't expecting to hear it. And then I was like, oh, okay, got it. Because when they were talking about biter, they would say they, and I was like, huh? And I was like, oh, yes, got it now. It took me a little bit, but I thought that was interesting. Let's see. Sorry, I'm gonna scroll. I'll scroll, double check I didn't miss anything. Okay. But yeah, it was a good book. I'm trying to think if there was any other parts that I liked. I just thought Makari just sacrificing himself every time. He's like, nope, I can't have this. I can't, nope. Ghazghkull can't do it. Can't do it. What kind of orc would you most like to be? Mech, weird, pain boy, or something else? I've never really thought about it. I don't know. I feel like saying I want to be an orc is a little heretical. I think a weird boy is probably the most fitting among, like, the orc options I have. Like, I would say that is probably weird boy makes the most sense for me. I want a Jonathan Keeble orc. I don't think Jonathan Keeble is best suited for, I don't think Jonathan Keeble is best suited for orc voices. Let's keep him with the Primarchs, please. I would like to keep Jonathan Keeble as Sanguinia's voice actor. Please and thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see. Aurelia would be a weird boy. Yes, definitely. Yeah, weird boy is definitely the best choice for you. I'm trying not to, like, get wrapped up in that it's weird boy, and not that I'm, like, weird, but I mean, I am. I'm just trying to... definitely trying not to get wrapped up in that it's, oh, I'm weird. It's just psychers. Psychers. Be a flashgate, gotta be the shiniest. Gotta be the shiniest. The one thing about Orcs book is that they thought it... What? I don't understand what you're saying. I don't... Oh well, that's all good. Orcs are part of the plan of the old ones, no heresy there. Okay, technically the old ones don't fall within the heresy. So I think if the old ones still existed, I think humanity would still want to fight. I think humanity would still want to fight them. So I think they would actually be heretical. I think they would 100% still be heretical. Let's not talk about the sanguine orc. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. That got brought up like a while ago, and I didn't know what you guys were talking about at the time. Let's not talk about that. Wonder what orc would taste like. Mushroomy. Heretic Borger. Heretic Borger. Let's see, I was going to... I figured it might be cool if we watch some... some orc... Hang on. Whoop-a-ba. I was thinking it might be good today if we watch some orc videos on top of kind of like what we're already doing. I think that would be fun. Cause then we could talk more orcs, cause I don't know much. Orcs are impossible burgers. They're mushrooms, so vegan. They spread like mushrooms, but they're still made of meat. I think you could trick a vegan, but I don't think that they would be really happy with you. I don't think they'd be very happy with you. Yes, I have already played Chuda's Blood and Teeth. So yeah, played that one. It was fun. I was having a whole spiral. I did not do my best in that game, but it's okay. It's all good. Orcs are probably healthier than most of the fake meats they make. Yeah, you're probably right. But no. Actually, I don't know if you're correct about that. That crew ate a little bit of Makari's hand, and then he died promptly, very quickly. It was bad. He was growing spores out of his body, so I don't actually think, I actually don't think they're much healthier than the plant-based foods. Probably poisonous, but that could have just been because Makari is, like, blessed by Gork and Mork. This makes me sad. This makes me sad. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? This is actually not the earliest Aurelia redeem we've had. I think we had one that was like in the first 5 minutes at one point. There you go, you get like 30 seconds of this. Literally my first stream watching you and I see the bald right away. Nice. Alpha Striker, I'm so sorry you had to see this. It's a very cursed redeem. I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But there you go. You got like about 30 seconds. Pour one out for old Baelai, aka Sebastian Yerg. To this day, Ghazghkull still does not know how he died. The last old one confirmed was in Cabal. Well, not anymore. Well, thank you for the super chat. That's something to consider. 1515 stealth. If bald, why hair shade? It's because I couldn't get rid of the shading. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get rid of it, and it's not worth trying to mess up a whole model to make that happen. Nah, you're good. I think my favorite armor you have is the teal one. I think that's the 20th Legion one. I bet you know that I've said it, someone's gonna redeem it. They like the Alfarius one a lot, but they want me to be bald. There it is, I knew it. I knew it was gonna happen. They like it when I'm bald. And I'm like, why? So I'm not gonna be bald. I based this one off the Alfarius from, like the female Primarchs. That's what I based this off of. Let's see. My work here is done. Oh gosh. Have fun, custodians. Enjoy you. Well, thank you, Odysseus. Thank you so much for redeeming. What, you redeemed the cursed redeem, right? Yeah, I think that was you. I've got my eye on you. I've got my eye on you. The War of the Beast books are interesting because some of the chat box scrolled and I could not read it. Interesting because there are some Corks that came back with the orcs, but like Rogaldorn and TTS said, the War of the Beast was weird. Yeah, I don't know anything about the War of the Beast other than like the basic stuff from TTS. So I have no idea. This is the nice thing about being where I'm at in like the Warhammer universe. I don't know a lot, but I'm eager to learn more. I really want to know more. I just started watching your videos last night when I was finishing painting Johnson, and I need to finish your videos for TTSD. Oh, that'll be fun. Yay, I'm so glad you're enjoying everything. And if you found me yesterday, wow, I'm impressed. What is this Xeno heresy on my screen? Excuse me, I am an abhuman. Thank you very much. I'm an abhuman. My ears may be pointed, but that does not make me an Eldar, okay? Okay? Definitely not a Xenos. It's just insulting. I even put it in the Twitch about section. Pointed ears are a sin. Excuse me. Excuse me. I don't go around looking at you and I point out the things that are weird on your body. I don't do that. I don't do that. Hey, I play High Elves in Baldur's Gate 3 for the stats. I played it for the stats, okay? Not because it's for the stats, okay? Literally just the stats. Do all abhumans have great abs? I mean, I think my abs look good, but, you know, I'm not showing anyone. Your objections to us calling you an Eldar are noted and duly ignored. Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Was someone memeing at me, or aren't there actual cat girls in the Imperium? So technically there is a race of humans called Felinids. Let me get you a good picture of what they probably look like. A lot of people are like, oh, they're cat girls, but they're probably not. Oh, that's unnerving. Alright, you guys get to see this. Ew. That is so unnerving. Okay, but you guys, ew. Oh, stop that. There we go. One second. I have to save the photo. Oh, I hate this. This is so gross and looking. Felinid. Just that. Okay. One moment. I gotta pull it up. Alright, are you ready? You're not ready. 100% you're not ready. Here is what a Felinid looks like. This is off the... Let me make sure. It's off of aliensfandom.com, which doesn't sound good. What is the Warhammer 40k lexicon? They don't have any pictures. It's all kind of up to your own interpretation, but this is something that I saw that I hate, and you all have to see it too. It's gross. It's gross looking. Look at it and tell me it's not weird to look at. At least the ears are like tasteful here. Yes, it's basically like the live action cats. I told you, it looks awful. I've seen worse, I'm sure. I'm sure you have. This is the picture that I saw. I have no clue if that's accurate, but a lot of people will just draw cat girls. Yeah, it looks disturbing. So my statement that it's a cat girl, it seems to be more cat than girl than, yeah, so cat girl instead of cat girl. Correct. So I'm gonna take that off my screen because that looks, ugh, it's unnerving, uncanny valley. But if it makes you feel better, I'll give this to you for free because I don't think I have the redeem up. You can have that for free since that was scary. Since we had to look at that, that was very scary. So here you go. Now you have Aurelia with 4 ears. Instead of 4 eyes, 4 ears. This isn't the cat Aurelia. I know. Look, I'm trying to minimize the number of nightmares I give people. If you would like to see the coolest version of Cat Aurelia, go to my... You should go to my Halloween stream. The VOD is on YouTube. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. It's the best thing you'll ever see, I promise. I don't know if I have that model. Actually, why not? Chat. Important question. Do you want to see things you never wanted to see today? I have to check to see if it's, if I can even open it right now. Do we want to see it? Do I want to see it? Soko, you've already seen it. Okay, 1 second. I have to turn this off so I can make sure I pull up the right model. I have to make sure it works first. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Okay. Just listen to the sound of my disembodied voice. Scroll. This one. Please say it's loaded. No. Oh, good. It's loaded. Yes. Oh my goodness. Whoop, 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 whoop. I said I wouldn't bring this out again, but I lied. I wanted to. Hello. 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 Welcome. I am Aurelia. I love this model so much. It's great. There you go. You see my little paws? Oh, it's too good. It's too good. But look, it's still me. It's still me. Just with a cat body. This is how the Felinid should be, in my personal opinion. Brothers, is this heresy? No! No, brothers. No, no. Never! It could never be heresy. I should have a hotkey for this model. It's hilarious. I love it. If you want to see how, like, happy I get, watch the VOD. It's great. There we go. I will... Oh. Excuse me. There you go. The gackle? Oh my god. Are you talking about my giggle cackle? That's mean. That's mean. The Ghazghkull. Gosh. Well, here you are. Now you have regular me. You have regular me with ears. Cat ears. They're very windy cat ears, I must say. I like to play with them. Because they're rigged off my eyebrows. One of these days you're gonna have an actual feeling it on your stream and you're gonna have to answer for these crimes. Are we talking about, like, a cat girl VTuber? Technically, well, does Stella count as a cat girl? I honestly, I don't think they'll give me too much trouble. I don't think any crimes have been committed personally. Here, I'll take the ears off. So you got that for free. You got that for free. You didn't even have to redeem anything to get those. I don't know, my friend Stella has cat ears on her model, so I would say, yeah, I would say she wouldn't be bothered. She heard about my model. I think she was disturbed like everyone else is. The cat ear redeem isn't even real. Oh yeah, because I have to fix a few things with it, but it does exist. It did exist. Hi Aurelia, how you doing? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. We were talking about Ghazghkull Thraka, Prophet of the Waaagh, that book. A human ear redeem? No. No, why would I don't even know how to hide my ears. So no. You can't hide my ears. You can't hide my ears. It's been an hour and we haven't even spoken about the book. That's not true, Taro. You're just late. You're just late. We already spoke about the book and things were kind of dying down, so no, you were just late. That is not my fault. Aurelia casually scarring. I thought you said scaring, chat. I'm like, no. No, we go right for the throat here. We're scarring, chat. Definitely, 100%. We should talk about teeth, but they didn't talk about teeth in the book. What happened to your other avatar? You mean the cat? You mean the cat? Let's see. Eldar Aurelia redeem changes nothing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, that's rude. That's rude. First off, that's rude. Abhuman. Abhuman. Do not speak of the cat. It is mysterious. She'll come back eventually, I'm sure. Yes, you can control my color scheme with the redeems in the chat box. If you see an Eldar on your screen, you're watching the wrong stream. I agree. You clearly, your head's not in the right place. Should we watch some orc videos? I kind of want to watch some orc videos. Is there a cat-themed Space Marine chapter? Probably a custom chapter, but not like a lore, like a canon one. No, it's okay. I don't need any recommendations. We're good. We're good. We're just gonna watch whatever I feel like. So we're not gonna take it too seriously. The lion is a cat, but he is the lion. His legion is not called the Lions. So I would say no, that there are no cats. Canon cat factions. Other than like felinids, but no like Space Marine chapters. So. Okay. One second, I'm gonna pull up a video. And then we're going to... I saw this one and I've been wanting to watch this video for a while, so we're gonna watch it. Okay? We're gonna switch over. Okay. Let me pull up the video. Ah, clang. Let me turn off my music here. And let me pull up. We want this one, yes. Okay. I've seen this video for a while. And I wanted to watch this. Orcs the Best Xenos by Crack Duck. I know, I like his little profile picture. It's great. Hi, Aurelia. It's been a while since I last caught a live stream. Will you be finishing the rest of the TTS podcast? I am deciding how I want to address the third TTS podcast. You guys might have to just keep in mind, I might never watch it, and that might just be okay. If I do, it's like going to be on my personal time, and I'll inform you of how it goes. So, I hate to disappoint you, but there's a good chance you may never see me react to the last one. So I apologize in advance. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to get into it. This channel is great. Yay, good. Okay, let me set up the audio for this. Elder Mindpulse, thank you so much for resubscribing. And you've been with the Legion for 4 months. That's great. I honestly can't wait until we get to the point where people have been subscribed for like... Ow. Sorry, keep bonking my elbow. Where people are like subscribed for like a year or more. It's kind of crazy thinking about it that I started streaming in February on YouTube. Twitch was sometime in like March or April? I don't remember. Desk receives 1 wound. I receive a wound. So... I started painting Warhammer more when my best friend bought me an airbrush set to paint our minis, and watching your videos last night made me think, what if I started a channel? Yeah, that would be fun. Like to paint your own minis and stuff? Yeah, it's not easy work. I thought this would be easier if I'm being perfectly honest. But that's awesome. I'm glad that you're inspired to go do something and to create something. I honestly think that's the best thing like people can do is not like there's nothing wrong with relaxing and enjoying yourself, but I think creating something for people to enjoy, not just yourself, is like a really good thing that I think everyone should do. And it's not always in like the form of like go make a YouTube channel or a streamer account, like just something that people can appreciate. So that's my take. Desk receives wound. Aurelia receives 1 mortal wound. Oh, okay. 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 All right, let's take a look at this video. I don't know how loud it's gonna be.
Hi,
Okay, let me get him. I think he's gonna be quiet.
friends. It's Orktober! Orcs!
Okay, we'll start over. I think I got it right. You ready? We ready? Oh wait, what am I doing? Hang on 1 second. I have my OBS in front of me and not the video. So I'm like looking at like I'm looking at my tiny OBS and not and not at the you know, the screen with like the full screen video. Like, what's up with that? Okay, good. There we go. We fixed it. We fixed it.
Hi, friends. It's Orktober! Orcs, orcs, orcs. Am I right, boys? Orc boys, that is. Woo! Orcs are my favorite xenospecies.
It's kind of quiet. Hang on. I thought he was going to be louder. How was the volume? How was the volume, everyone? Was it a little quiet? Kind of quiet. Okay, that's what I thought. I'm going to turn him up. My volume's up there. Okay, I'm turning him up.
Orcs, orcs. Am I right, boys? Orc boys, that is.
Orcs.
Woo! Orcs are my favorite xenospecies and probably my second biggest 40k army, which, come to think about it, maybe my little cracked brain just likes seeing a ton of little green men on the tabletop. But yes,
he liked the
orcs,
green
orcs,
guys.
Orcs. Everyone's favorite silly, goofy, heavy metal, ramshackle, Mad Max murder fungus. Orcs are a race perfectly suited to the grimdark 40k world.
I love his
classic
avatar.
line, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. Well, when a normal person reads that, they might say, oh dear, well, that doesn't sound very pleasant at all. But an orc would say, oh, wow, that sounds like literal heaven. Yippee! Orcs literally
memes.
only want one thing, and it's disgusting. And unlike regular boys who just want cool-ass figurines to paint, or I guess hotties, or wherever that original quote was referencing, orc boys only want war. Oh, I mean, war!
I don't want the hotties,
Orcs
no
eat,
way.
sleep, and breathe war. And that's at least slightly literal. All of orc culture and biology revolves around war, warfare, and large military conflicts, aka war!
Yes!
The orcs are one of the oldest species in the galaxy, and were literally biologically engineered for war. A long time ago, in a galaxy that is this one, the old ones, basically super intelligent, near godlike, magic space lizards, created the Eldar and later the Kroorks in order to fight the Necrons in the war in heaven. That's a video for another time, but just know it was pretty nutty. And nutty times call for nutty dudes, and nutty the Kroorks were. Not a ton is known about them, but the Kroorks are the pinnacle of orc kind. They have all of the modern orc strengths, tuned to 11,
This is the ideal
while
orc
also being
body. I
extremely
love
intelligent.
that.
They were the perfect warrior race, as they were mostly self-sustaining, repopulate quickly, and got stronger based on how strong their opponents were. That last part was actually part of the reason why they became the weaker modern-day orc. The war in heaven was astronomically nutty. A clash of gods with peak necro.
I don't want to draw this. Imagine an insane, crazy battle with a bunch of lasers and stuff. Please, you got it. You got it.
Eldar, and orcs, along with some other wackos. So, after the war was ended, the Kroorks were basically malnourished as they no longer had super powerful foes to constantly fight. Consequently, they began to regress and were systematically hunted down by the Eldar. And as the years passed, the orcs became weaker and weaker until their modern-day iteration. Which, the modern-day orcs being the weak, watered-down version of the orc race is pretty crazy considering their presence is usually an impossible to get rid of green apocalypse-level event. But with that, what makes the orcs so
He got a hair
dangerous,
squig.
and why exactly are they a perfectly engineered warrior race?
Why
Because
danger?
they're green,
Why perfect?
And green is best. But jorts, jokes plus orcs, aside, them being green actually is tied to one of their greatest strengths, their unending tides. But I'll get to that in a bit. First, I need to cover the basics. Orcs are incredibly tough and strong. Their bones are thicker and more dense than humans. They have simpler organs, less sensitive.
I'm sorry. Wait, I need to see that.
Their bones are thicker and more.
He got that thick bone. Oh shoot. That orc do be thick.
Dense than humans, they have simpler organs, less sensory nerves so they don't feel as much pain, and they have a layer of spongy flesh to lessen impacts. All these traits make the orcs very durable and deadly in combat. They're basically really, really hard to kill roided up gorillas with giant guns and swords. And that hard to kill part is no joke. Orcs can survive dismemberment, decapitation, impaling, crushing, and pretty much anything else, at least for a short time. And that short time is often enough time for them to shoot you in the face or crump you in return. In addition to this, remember that the orcs also get stronger and bigger. The more they fight, the more powerful their opponents
big
are,
boys.
and the more unified they are. This makes orc Waaaghs incredibly dangerous as they unify orcs to a common cause and gather more and more greenskins to wage war, constantly powering themselves up. Now,
They're like a
back
little
to
battery.
green, and this next part doesn't really make sense for real science, but who gives a damn? This is 40k. Rule it cool, baby.
Yeah.
So, the orcs are supposedly green because they have chlorophyll in their blood and can photosynthesize. This, in conjunction with their ability to eat pretty much anything and the fact that
Oh, I
their food
didn't know
literally
that.
grows with them, means that almost all their labor and supply lines can be dedicated to more DECA. Woo!
I didn't
To
know that.
elaborate
That's
on
kind
the
of
food
cool.
situation, let me
But
describe the typical
green
orc
skin.
reproduction cycle. And don't worry, kiddos, orcs reproduce in the boring way. That's to say they don't have sex, unlike us super cool Warhammer players. Orcs are
Yeah? You said that with a lot of confidence. You must have a girlfriend or something. You must have some sort of partner. Wow, good for you, man. He was very confident with that statement. Orcs are super fun. They are really fun. Wow. That guy, he spoke with such confidence. I'm happy for him. I'm so happy for him.
technically a fungoid species, which makes no sense with the photosynthesis thing, since not being able to photosynthesize is a key differentiator between fungi and plant. But
Oh, I
I
didn't
quit
know that.
biology, so I didn't have to think about biology anymore. So moving on.
Correct. Good
also,
plan.
sometimes orcs are said to be a third fungus, a third animal, and a third plant, specifically algae. But this also doesn't really make sense either. But whatever, it's 40k, not
Doesn't
McGraw
matter.
Hill. So moving on, for real.
McGraw
The orcs
Hill.
are one of the most numerous, if not the most numerous factions in the entire galaxy. Psst, they're the most numerous. The orcs have been found in every corner of the galaxy, so there's no doubt at least 10 of them on the low end and more than 11 of them on the high end. Even worse, the orcs spread and reproduce at an astonishing rate, so if they don't quite inhabit every corner of their galaxy yet, they will eventually. So
Yeah,
just
they're
like Spirit
scary.
Halloween, like a bazillion of them can just show up overnight and sow terror in the local population.
Spirit
Boom!
Halloweens.
October callback, baby. But back to Serious Town. Overnight is a bit
Oh,
of an
wait.
overstatement, but
Okay, hang on. I need to look up something. Sorry, I just had like a thought. 1 second. Hang on. I need to make sure this is accurate. Yes, okay. So sorry. Such a side note. But did you guys hear? Okay, so if you don't know, Spirit Halloweens are basically or like Spirit, they're like Halloween stores where you can get costumes, and they pop up in basically like abandoned buildings, not like abandoned, but like buildings that don't have like leases, and they're there from like September to like when Halloween is over. They've now decided they are going to do Christmas spirit stores. So instead of just Spirit Halloween, they're doing Christmas stores as well. And I'm kind of interested in what that's going to be like. I don't know if there are any that are going to pop up. I have no idea. I've not looked into it. I just heard about it on the internet, and I was like, that's nuts to think about, that they're like, it's time to do Christmas. But honestly, it's a really smart model. But I was like, oh. And it kind of fits. I don't know if they originally designed the word like spirit to be like Halloween, like spirits, or if it was like the Halloween spirit. If not, if it was just for like a ghost spirits, and now they're doing like Christmas spirit, like Halloween, that's pretty smart. What's next? Spirit Valentine? Probably not. I think there are probably other stores that are more devoted to Valentine's Day. I imagine there are other stores you could go to for that. I don't think Spirit Halloween and Christmas will really get into that. What stores? Look, I've heard about them, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I drive by them. That's not the same.
they still reproduce very quickly. Orcs reproduce by releasing spores which incubate underground into little freakish plant wombs and gestate into various orcoid life forms. Often squigs are born first, then snotlings who start the food supply by herding the squigs and cultivating fungus, then the grots build important structures, and then finally, just like a blister, the orcs come after the hard work's done. They use all the stuff the lesser orcoid life forms so
like
nicely
a blister
made for them and go off to look for something to fight. This orc life cycle makes it almost impossible to fully eradicate the orcs since once you kill one of them, they release a bunch of spores to start the cycle anew. So usually once a planet is visited by the orcs, they have to deal with them for the rest of time. But I now realize I just listed a bunch of names that might sound like a bunch of nonsense to normal people, so let's quickly segue into orc culture.
The memes, the memes are so great.
System in which the wacky critters I just described are put into. Much like playground children or the Decepticons, orcs believe that might is right and the biggest and strongest shall lead the rest of the boys. So, the squigs, snotlings, and grots are considered lesser beings since they're weak and small and can barely even fight. Usually. And as such, these little dudes are assigned to all the boring-ass tasks like manufacturing, farming, being farmed, fixing things, and basically everything else actually essential to actually keeping their society functional. Meanwhile, the proper orcs get to do the fun stuff, like killing things. Woo!
It sounds like a good job.
And then, even here, in their own subspecies, they're also put into soft classes. The run-of-the-mill orc is simply referred to as a boy, and these serve as the standard infantry of an orc. Waaagh! Although generally the weakest orc, the boys are still brutal green monster men that can kill most things, especially when he's joined by like a million other boys. Another important part of orc biology is that they all have some sort of innate knowledge coded into them. Usually this is just like a million different ways to brutally kill stuff, but sometimes it's things like engineering or magic, which brings us to the more specialized boys called odd boys. First up are the mech boys, who invent and fix all the orcs' technology. They can pretty much fix or make anything, but they don't truly understand how the machines work, rather they just rely on their genetic instincts to get the job done. To demonstrate their absolute genius, here's one of their greatest inventions. It's called a shock attack gun. Oh, alright, sounds like an electricity gun. Impressive, but kinda sci-fi basic if you ask me. If you thought that, well, you need to think like an orc, buddy. Sure, a shock attack gun probably uses electricity somewhere, but this beauty's main form of attack is to create a small tunnel through the warp that snotlings are blasted through, or sometimes they run through the tunnels, which actually that's kind of funnier, so let's just go with that. And basically this gun teleports snotlings into whatever the orc is shooting at. Then the snotling goes crazy style and wrecks whatever it's shot at, or I guess shot in.
That's fantastic. I love that. It's a great weapon.
Pain boys have PhDs coded into their DNA and serve as the surgeons and doctors of orc society. This usually just amounts to them haphazardly replacing limbs with robot limbs, injecting a variety of strange drugs, and role-playing the ancient Terran hero of Victory Frankenstein. And then weird boys have my middle school self coded into their DNA. I'm just kidding, of course. They aren't nearly that weird, and are actually far more focused on magic. Regrettably, I wasn't able to teleport or shoot lightning in middle school. But yes, the weird boys, they use magic.
I'm sorry.
All orcs emanate a psychic energy, which we'll get into a bit more later, and the weird boys absorb this energy and can channel them into various abilities like teleportation, giant psychic punches, shooting lightning, shooting fire, shooting lasers, etc., etc. And then next up, the most important odd boy, the brew boys. Because what's the point of having an army of boys if you can't crack a cold one with them? Then, up the totem pole, you got the knobs, which some would argue that a knob would actually be down the totem pole, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. Much like goldfish or lobsters or...
My head is in my hands, you can't see it, but... Oh my. Wow. Wow!
Orcs continuously grow in their lifetime, and the ones that fight hard enough or long enough grow to be very powerful. These are the knobs, and they serve as the leaders of orc society since they're bigger, stronger, and meaner than the rest of those gits. Some knob types are mega knobs, who wear mega armor, which is basically orc power armor, the best suits being comparable to Terminator armor. Other than durability, the orcs also, of course, strap a bunch of guns to these.
It's
Then
a
there's
good
the
plan.
flash kits, which are the richest orcs who have the bestest and biggest guns. Then there's the cyborgs, who were orcs gravely injured in battle, but deemed important enough to be cybernetically reconstructed by the
Cyborg.
Pain Boys. And then there's some other ones. And then finally, on the top of the top, there's the war boss, who's the biggest, the baddest,
big
and
boss.
the most brutally cunning of all the orcs. He, of course, gets all the best stuff and leads the wars. Finally, for Orc society, they often group up into tribes, and these tribes group up into clans, each clan having a unique color scheme and specialty. Quickly, the 6 biggest ones are the Goths, who love checkers, and the strongest orcs, who also extra love melee, the Death Skulls, who are lucky and like to steal stuff, the Snake Bites, who are boomers who think that technology is stupid and scary, the Evil Sons, who like to go fast and paint everything hot rod red, and then the Blood Axes, who are the first to find humans and adopt some of their tactics, such as actually using tactics, and they also trade or act as mercenaries sometimes. And then there's
Actually
many
using
lesser
tactics.
clans. Next, let's cover orc beliefs, both their religion and famous psychic gestalt. Orcs believe in 2 gods. Why do they need 2 gods? Well, because it would be stupid to be a super powerful god since you could just crump everything else with ease, and that's boring. Therefore, they need a buddy to fight with. So there's Gork and Mork. One's brutally cunning, and the other one's cunningly brutal. Wholly embodying the complex orc war philosophies. And to close off this holy orc trinity is Ghazghkull, the prophet of the Waaagh, and technically Orc Jesus. Like, come on, he was
Orc
reborn a number of
Jesus.
times, performs orc miracles, and killing a ton of things is the closest orc analog of going around performing good deeds and spreading benevolent teachings. Then, on the other side of the orc belief coin is their unique species-wide psychic ability called the Psychic Gestalt, a concept who gives the stupid-ass shovel memes a run for their misconception money. The Psychic Gestalt is essentially a psychic field made up of the psychic aura of every orc in an area and can have tangible effects based on the collective orc belief. However,
dang.
this effect is very, very often over-exaggerated in memes and stuff to a, quite frankly, stupid degree. Orcs cannot just imagine anything they want into existence, otherwise they would just own the
It's
setting
funny,
since
though.
every orc legitimately and strongly believes that they are the bestest. No, the Gestalt effect is much more subtle, and although some sources do vary, I like to think of it as a reality loop, meaning that it could help orc things work better, but isn't a Green Lantern ring or a reality stone. So, for example, an orc can't just imagine a brick as a gun and shoot it, or a jar of mayonnaise as a saxophone and play the blues. Rather, they can believe that their shitty gun isn't so shitty and it actually functions properly. Whereas in the hands of another
Oh, okay.
species, it
I
would
like
just
that.
be a piece of crap that jams every other shot. This is also where the color thing comes
like
into play.
that.
Some say that the orc color thing isn't real, both in lore and on a
It's-
metatextual
I
level.
believe
but
it's real.
I personally subscribe to the idea
It's
that
funny.
it does give subtle bonuses because it's more fun, and other factions have at least low-level reality warping born of belief, so orcs having it makes sense. So red goes faster, blue is lucky, yellow's exploding, and so on. Another way this manifests is in their wars! Orc wars! Are basically orc crusades where they go plan to plan, destroying everything in their warpath. As previously mentioned, when on a Waaagh, the more orcs there are, the stronger they get, and this is from the Psychic Gestalt. Usually orcs are scattered and fight each other as often as they fight other races. However, sometimes the orcs will band together and go on a Waaagh. Unified, the orcs becomes bigger, stronger, and slightly smarter. They also use their psychic gestalt to unknowingly navigate their space hulks, rocks, attack moons, and whatever vessels they have to get onto other planets ripe for a crumpin'. And finally, let's just talk about why everyone loves orcs. The orcs are goofy comic relief, they have
They're
cartoony
great.
antics, silly dialogue, fun, wacky contraptions and weapons, and they're just really fun.
Just
As
a
long
little
as you're an
silly
orc.
guy.
To literally everyone else, orcs are a proper grim dark monster. To face an unending tide of excessively cruel, relentlessly durable green monsters who literally only want war is a hopeless nightmare. Kill an orc and hundreds will replace it. The more you fight a Waaagh, the stronger it gets unless you utterly eradicate it. Orcs are everywhere, and they're not leaving anytime soon. Then, from a hobby perspective, they're just such a fun faction with so much baked-in creative freedom. Yes, you could technically kit bash anything for any faction, but to me, I like to at least follow the lore a little bit for my hobby projects, so having a faction that's known for stealing stuff, making ramshackle gear, and using pretty much whatever is a kit basher's dream. After all,
That is pretty
every
cool.
kit is an orc kit. So, to
Yeah,
me,
yeah, it
orcs
is,
are so
technically.
beloved because they perfectly embody everything people love about 40k. They're over the top goofy at times, but they're also a grimdark nightmare. They make fun characters and stories, and are awesome from a hobby perspective. They are truly the Warhammer 40,000. But yeah, that's the orcs. The best Xenos in my opinion, and the only faction in 40k where the majority of them are having a good time. They're literally in orc heaven.
Yeah,
Green
pretty
is
much.
truly the best. So let me know what you think of the orcs and what your favorite clan is. I definitely want to make more orc videos, and the reason I haven't so far is honestly because I didn't like the way I drew them up until recently, so be on the lookout for more specific orc videos, maybe like orc units or Ghazghkull. And thank you for watching, and thank you.
That was cool. I like that. I like the art style. That was great. I like that. Gotta see what he says about Eldar and app humans if he has a video on that. Yellow is the richest color. I think the exploding thing might be a fan meme, but I'm not sure. Purple sneaky is this fan meme. But it's great. It's great. Purple is very, very sneaky. Very, very sneaky. Very sneaky. Okay, let me see. Oh, I love this video, so we're gonna watch it.
A bunch of Imperial.
Oh, it just auto plays. I wish it didn't like start off that way every time, like for streams specifically. We have to watch this one because I love the animation that came with this. Yeah, bricky jump scare. Sorry. It's like chucking a brick through your window. I have to watch this. I love this video.
A bunch of Imperial guardsmen, right? They're defending a spot, and the orcs just keep on coming. They just keep on coming. They don't stop, and eventually the guardsmen run out of ammunition with their las guns, and then the company commander has an idea. He points his las gun at an enemy, and he goes bang, and then an orc falls over dead, and then the guardsmen look at him and they're like, dumb. And then all the orcs just start falling over them
because they believe they've still got ammo, I assume.
until
it's so
a group
stupid,
of 6
but I
orcs
love
run
it.
over the hill, and they just won't fall over from all the banging. And then they hear chanting in the distance, and then as they get closer, they hear, "I'm a tank, I'm 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 a tank."
No fucking way.
I think it's bullshit, but I love the story.
It's so
a great story.
stupid, but it's so good.
That has to be real because that's fucking great.
Yeah, that's not how it works, but it's still very, 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 very funny. I love that. I love that. Honestly, orcs just being a meme the whole time is like the best thing ever. Let's see, let me go. It's like a bunch of different videos. Ooh. That's kind of interesting. Hang on one second. I found a video that I think will be interesting. I want to know. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I found... One second. Come on. What? Pardon me? What? Okay. It's being weird. Okay. I found a video that I think will be good. The orcs' physiology and nature, which I think will be interesting to listen to. Because I'm curious as to how, I've not watched this video, but I'm curious as to, like, how far they'll get, like, into it for the physiology part. Because I want to know more about that. I have no idea if this video is good.
Hello there, my green-skinned friends, and welcome, finally, some of you might say, to my first series dedicated solely to one of the major alien races of
I'm looking
Warhammer
forward
40K.
to it.
And these, like you might have seen on the title, are the brutal and straightforward orcs, or greenskins as they are also called. I've already done an introduction video on them a few weeks ago, and I will be adding that one to this new playlist. But today I will not be talking about the same stuff I mentioned in that episode. Today I wanted to tell you more about the physiology of the orcs and the greenskins in general, as well as a few bits on the nature of these aliens.
Oh, yeah, I should tell you who the person who made the video, Grimdark Narrator, is the name of the channel for this video. Sorry, I should have said that. But yes, I want to see orc organs. I want to see that.
I'm your host, the Grimdark Narrator, and without further ado, let us learn more about orcs, shall we?
Yes.
Orcs, despite being green-skinned, have red blood, which is believed to be a side effect of their genetic relationship with mushrooms or fungi. The central physique of an orc is so robust that it can withstand unbelievable levels of punishment. They also feel very little pain, which enables them to fight and keep on fighting, while the warriors of other races would have died or become exhausted many times over. It is believed by some who study these brutes, albeit from afar, that this goes some way to explaining the greenskins' ultra-violent sense of humor. As pain or fear means very little to them, they are highly curious and amused by the reactions of a weaker foe as they hack them apart.
Yikes, that's
Of
brutal.
terror contrasting with a deeply throaty rumbling that on occasion could be mistaken for laughter from the orcs and their snickering brethren. The greenskins' regenerative process itself is so powerful that an orc which has been cut to bits can simply be stitched back together, bewildered but ready to fight once again. Nothing but the most grievous of wounds will put an orc down for long, and burning them to ash is the only known way to be absolutely sure that they stay down for good.
Yeah.
A typical orc stands around the same height as an average human male, though he would be much taller were he to stand up straight instead of being hunched over, as is his normal stance, and his frame is very muscular and solid. An orc's arms are long and heavily muscled, knuckles almost scraping the floor as he lopes around like an ape. His gnarled hands end in taloned fingers capable of tearing an enemy's throat out with ease. The skin of an orc is green and leathery tough, and his body is dotted with scars, scabs, pockmarks, and parasites. The skull is extremely thick, able to absorb impacts that would cave in a human head. His heavy brow shades blood-red eyes, afire with the need to kill. Jagged fangs jut from a heavy jaw that would not look out of place upon a far larger predator, and when an orc speaks, it is with a slow, gruff tone, thick with saliva and guttural curses. His words are sparse, brutal, and straight to the point.
I thought he was gonna say sparse, brutal, and then cunning. I thought they were gonna get into that. I might actually listen to this a tiny bit faster. Think that. Just a little faster.
A particular favorite ingredient in their diet are squigs, also called squiggly beasts. These are a variety of symbiotic orcoid races about the size of a Terran dog or cat. These include the eaten squig, a limbless blob which feeds on fungus, the growler squig.
There's different types of squigs. Oh, I didn't know that.
Dog for Gretchen, the attack squig, a powerfully voracious beast, actually available as a piece of war gear, and the face-eater squig, a ferociously toothed variety used both as a weapon and
a face-eater squig. Very nice, very nice.
This is a sort of pastime activity for the orcs, where the orc and the squig both open their mouths and bite, in a parody of a kiss. If the orc eats the squig, he wins. If he keels over backwards, he loses. There is also a larger subspecies of squig called a squigoff, which can range in size from that of about a Terran elephant to a warhound or reaver-sized titan.
Oh shit.
Squigoffs are used as huge pack animals, but also in combat as a mobile fortress. Orcs continue to grow throughout their lives. The effect is particularly noticeable in orcs who are successful. As the orc survives combats and wins trophies, the respect of the other orcs will produce in him an effect somewhat similar to adolescence in a human male. He starts to put on muscle, becomes more aggressive and assertive, and generally throws his weight around. If he wins the ensuing challenges to single combat, he may become something called a nob, a leader or chieftain of orcs, noticeably larger and tougher than the average greenskin. Once he begins to grow, an orc will generally keep on growing and getting stronger until he's beaten by an even bigger orc. War bosses and warlords, the rulers of orc empires, are very large orcs indeed. Orc physiology is actually the complex interweaving of two symbiotic organisms that have been genetically linked by the Greenskin's original creators.
I need to know.
One strain is comparable to a terrestrial animal, and the other to an algae or fungus, living within the former's bloodstream and skin. An orc's animal cells carry the genetic information of only the individual orcoid subspecies, but the fungoid component of their physiology possesses the genetic information that defines all the different varieties of orcoid, as well as the different odd boys, and it helps to heal wounds by providing greater biochemical energy supplies drawn from some form of biosynthesis when necessary. Orc biology
I like that take
lends
on
itself
it.
well to combat. They are extremely strong and tough, and are naturally good fighters, always looking for a scrap. There are two theories relating to why orcs have this unique hybrid physiology. The first is that they were adapted by their masters, who were in fact the present-day snotlings, a diminutive alien race that soared to intelligence upon eating a particular species of mushroom, then spread across the galaxy with the help of their less intelligent orc slaves, and then turned stupid again when the orcs consumed all traces of the mushroom which made them smart in the first place.
Oh,
the more
nice,
modern
lovely.
and accepted imperial theory of orc origins says that they are the Krork, created as a warrior race by the Old Ones.
Yeah, that's
in
what
orc
I know.
legends as the
The other
Brain
version
Boys,
is funny, though.
for use against the Necrontyr and the Catan. The fact that an entire ecosystem can be constructed by just orcoids, and their complete war readiness from birth, suggests that this is the more likely of the two orc origin theories. In early forms of this theory, developed by the Imperial Magi biologists, the Brain Boys were actually an orcoid subspecies, along with the orcs and the Gretchen. Nowadays, though, they are believed by most Imperial scholars to be the reptilian Old Ones, who also created other psychic races like the Eldar or the Jokero. The Brain Boys, or Old Ones, apparently became extinct or simply disappeared from the galaxy for unknown reasons during the course of the so-called War in Heaven. This theory says that before they passed on, they genetically engineered the orcs' DNA to include a technogene. This gene develops in orcs as they grow, influencing their minds and releasing genetically encoded knowledge, in a similar way that a human baby will reflexively hold its breath underwater, or a horse can walk half an hour after being born. An orc's technogene gives it information on how to fight, operate weapons, and speak the orc language. Orc odd boy specialists, such as mech boys or pain boys, are the mechanics and surgeons of orc society, and also receive their knowledge through these technogenes. This theory of orc
this is what I wanted to see. I was kind of curious. This was part of the thumbnail. I was like, ooh, this is interesting. I wanted to see this. Because, like, they still are, like, flesh and blood. That's kind of cool, though. You can see all the muscles layered and...
holds that this was a deliberate measure to ensure that the orcoid race would survive in an incredibly hostile universe. But orcs have not only survived, they have prospered and are far more numerous than even the myriad trillions of individuals who comprise humanity across the galaxy. This is part because of how Imperial scholars believe that they reproduce. Orcs release fungal spores, which grow into a plant-like womb underground that nourishes the bodies of the various orcoid
I didn't know about
species.
that, but that's pretty cool, though.
This is the entire basis of the orcoid ecosystem, producing first the squigs, then snotlings, who cultivate the squigs and the fungus they feed on, then Gretchen to build the greenskin settlements, and finally the orcs themselves. This means that the orcs, no matter where they go, will have an abundance of food, slaves, and resources. A moving orcoid ecosystem that supports them as they unleash their Waaagh. This also makes it very difficult to rid a planet of orcs, even if the initial invasion is defeated.
Yep.
Orcs release spores throughout their lives, but release them massively at the moment of death. Without a nearby population of orcs, the alien fungus will eventually start the orcoid life cycle anew. Decades after weathering an orc Waaagh, settlements on a planet can find themselves facing an unexpected attack from feral orc tribes coming out of the wilderness. The only way to effectively remove all the orcs once they are
Burn 'em.
embedded on a planet
Gotta burn
is
'em
through
all.
a planetary exterminatus. Yet, for all the questions that still hang over the greenskin race, what cannot be disputed is that they are a relentless, bloodthirsty race. An invasion by orcs has been likened to an incurable disease by the Imperium scholars. Once a world or star system has faced an attack by the greenskins once, it will be ravaged by them time and again, until it finally withers and dies. Even as the world's defenders are celebrating their first victory over the orc invaders,
yikes.
new tribes of greenskins will be multiplying in the dark and shadowed corners of the victorious world. At the same time, orc survivors will carry word with them through the void, spreading the tale of how good a fight a particular world put on. Keen to have a go at it themselves, fresh waves of orcs will soon descend upon the horrified defenders, often before the damage from the previous invasion has been repaired. These attacks will increase in severity, wave after wave of greenskins from space, now supplemented by the tribes which have risen up in the planet's own wilderness. The planet's populace will be overrun one stronghold at a time, drowning in a rising tide of roaring, battle-mad greenskins. The harder a planet's defenders fight back, the worse their predicament will become. Every orc slain makes way for two of its bellowing brothers, while every attack wave the defenders bloodily repulse just draws more enthusiastic greenskins down on their heads. In this way, some worlds can become the unintentional focus of a Waaagh, the orcs' numbers and frenzy reaching a critical mass as they fling themselves against the world's defenders time and again. Eventually, the pressure from the orc invaders, both within and without, becomes insupportable, leaving the defenders only two choices: stand and fight and die to the last in the process, or flee with whatever they can salvage, leaving their stricken world to the orcs. And this, my friends, has been what I wanted to tell you about the physiology of the greenskins for today. Since this is now...
I wish, I mean, I know there's not much, but I really want to read the book that this came from, because I really want to know, like, all, like, the little details and that they came up with for the orcs and how they're, like, designed and put together. So I'm a little disappointed that we couldn't really go into it more. Xenology. Xenology 40k book. Even if we found a PDF, let's see. Oh my goodness! I just looked it up. You can get it on Amazon. There's a leather-bound version for $394 US. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Well, this book is from 2006. Holy cow, that is... Let's see. Yeah, same thing. I went to eBay, and it's about $300 US there. That is a shame. That's insane. Only that much? That's a steal. I maybe in the sense that instead of buying it, you would steal it. Don't steal, chat. Please don't. I do not condone stealing. What the heck? That's so cool, though. Yeah, it would be getting it secondhand. You're not getting it new. Ooh. Just knocked something off my desk. Wait, just thought of something. Do you think that an orc spore can attach itself to a dropship and that when the dropship goes to another planet, it could possibly Dino Fan? I don't think so. Because if it's in the cold vacuum of space, it doesn't have, like, the psychic orc thing to say, oh, don't die in the cold vacuum of space. Yeah, it's called Xenology. Notes from the alien bestiary of Bejel and the studies of its vile specimens. Yeah, Xenology is what it's called. $300. I am not going to do this because I'm not that interested and I would never pay this much for a book. But imagine if I put that up on my throne page, like, I would like to buy this book, chat, help me. I would not do that. That is way too expensive. I don't want anyone to pay that much for a book. That's insane. If you do, someone will buy it. I'm not. That is the precise reason why I'm not going to do it. Because $300 for that book? Insane. Keep in mind it is written from an in-universe view, and some theories may be wrong. No, that's fine. I just think it's fascinating. How big is the book? I don't know how many pages it is. It looks pretty thin. It can't be more than 100 pages from the pictures I'm looking at. No, it's not nearly big enough to be worth $300. I don't even know if I'd buy a book for $300, and I love books. $3 a page. They are big pages, but still. Huh. It looks cool, though. Yeah, it's an art book, so yeah, I agree. I assume it's also mostly just pictures. But there is some sections that have, like, large stretches of text. A lot of the old 40k fluff books are really pricey. I managed to snag a copy of the Imperial Infantryman's Handbook from my local bookstore. It's apparently worth $50. It should be worth $20 max. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. It looks cool, and I would be interested in reading it, but that's way too expensive. Like... But would I get more value out of it than, like, university textbooks? Maybe. If we're being perfectly honest, it might be worth it. Although the cost, the price per page is much higher than a university textbook, than I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, buying books, buying university books are so expensive. So unbelievably expensive. I can't believe how expensive it is. That's insanity. I could never just no. No, not it's not for me. Not for me. Yes, Waaagh. I actually think, oh, gosh, next book club. Okay, so yeah, a couple things. Next book club, I will post. I will make a poll. I do it on the YouTube side. So on YouTube, I will make a poll of all the recent book recommendations. I usually pick 4 that I think will be fun to read. We will read it and we'll talk about it sometime in December. Not sure the date just yet. I will set that up and I'll put a notification in the Discord. And if you haven't joined the Discord, you should, because that's where I put all of the notifications in. That's where I do like tons of notifications. Also, unfortunately, because it is now December, my availability is limited, unfortunately. However, but I will be posting streaming schedule, but only like 2 main streams this week. I'm really sad. It'll be Tuesday and Thursday, but I've got family obligations. However, while I am only streaming Tuesday and Thursday, I am streaming with my friend Cha-Cha. You should follow her. She on Twitch tomorrow is going to be on the front page and will be streaming for 8 hours. And so I will be playing some Mario Party with her. So nothing on my channel, but I will be there. I will put an announcement in the Discord. So if you want to watch us play Mario Party with Cha-Cha and my friend Stella, we'll just do both. We'll do both of them. So we're going to play some Mario Party, and it's going to be a ton of fun, so you should join. You should join us for that. And yeah, I will send all of the updates and a few more things. I will be releasing, chat, I'm looking for some new mods, so I will be opening up mod applications here in the near future. So if you are interested in joining the moderation team, join the Discord, because I'll post it all there, and yeah, it'll be great. So I hope you guys consider joining the mod team, and hopefully I see a bunch of you tomorrow on Cha-Cha's stream while we play Mario Party. It will be fun. It'll be really, really fun. So thank you all for coming, and sorry that it's a shorter stream today. Just got a ton of stuff going on. Steve's not listening again? Oh gosh, okay. Steve and I are gonna have to talk. Steve and I are gonna have to talk. Steve and I will talk. So, thank you everyone for joining us today, and I will see you later this week. So, have a great rest of your day, okay everyone? All right, bye!